Live? Yes, I think we are. Oh, let me turn my volume down slightly. Is that better? Who am I asking? Am I asking myself? Yes, it's better. Good answer. Hello, everyone. My name is Luke. Today, we're going to be doing English movie night. So this is going to be a movie live stream. We're going to watch a whole movie, and I hope it's going to be interesting. This is a black and white movie. We've been doing this for maybe almost 2 months now, maybe more. It's been fun. So what we do is we watch the whole movie, and then every once in a while we stop to talk about some English points, culture points, and for those watching live, I'll be answering questions about the movie. If you have other questions about English, then join for the regular live streams, and I'll try to answer those questions. So, we are going to be today, hold on a second, let me just update the thumbnail so that when people get that update, it actually has the right picture. Give me a second. Hold on. We're going to be today watching a movie called Journey to Italy. And I'm just going to say why I chose this one. I'm unashamed. I chose it because it has Ingrid Bergman in it. And I am now officially an Ingrid Bergman fan. We watched, when we watched, was the Hitchcock movie. That was Ingrid Bergman. She was in that, and Gregory Peck, and that was a good one. I really enjoyed that one. And so check that one out if you haven't already. And so this one hopefully is going to be interesting. I've seen some good reviews about it, but I haven't seen it. None of the movies that we watch I've seen before, except for when we did 12 Angry Men. And that one got banned for all time, so it doesn't matter anyway. Anyway, I haven't seen this movie. I've read reviews about it. I've watched little pieces of it here and there. So I hope it's going to be good. One hopes it's going to be good. If you guys haven't already, I would really appreciate if you could hit the like button. That lets other people know that there's a live stream happening. Basically, it's just a way to tell YouTube, hey, look at this. That's all it is. And so if you want to support the channel, that's probably the best way to do it. Also, if you want to see future videos and live streams, then you can subscribe. And subscribing will allow you to see when new videos are published. It will also allow you to see when we have regular live streams and future English movie nights. Last thing before we get started. I have a lot of courses, English language learning courses, and so if you're an English learner and you want to improve your pronunciation, your ability to think in English, your grammar, or whatever, I've got 11 courses in the links in the description, and you can check those out. They are on sale right now, so check those out in the links. Okay. I think we're pretty much ready to get started. Again, the movie is called Journey to Italy. That's what the movie is called. And I would assume it is about a journey to Italy. But you never know for sure until you watch it. All right. If we got anybody in the chat. Tanya is here. Tanya Slamani. Hello. Tanya is on Facebook. Awesome. All right. Well, it's good to have all of you back. It's good to be back. It's good to be doing movies again. I'm excited. I'll try to balance pausing it with watching it. That's one thing that I try to make sure I balance. It's tough. I stop it and make some points, but I don't want to do it too much so that we disrupt the flow of the movie. We'll see how it goes. As they say, play it by ear. So, without further delay, let's get started with this movie. You ready? You ready? You ready? Here we go. Ooh la la.
Oggi sto tanto allegra che quasi quasi mi mettesse a chiagnere tante a felicità. Mio vero, non mio vero.
Roberto Rossellini was one of the most prominent directors in the Italian
Tutto il
neorealist
treno
cinema
stava
movement.
ancora in da
Cool.
stazione quando aggiungise prima mandolina.
Don't worry, the actual movie's in English, guys. Don't worry. It is not going to be in Italian. Thanks, Miguel. I appreciate it. All right, all right, all right. I'm very tempted to fast forward through this. But I do actually like the song. Whoa, he was married to Ingrid Bergman. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's an interesting development. Gotta check this. Ingrid Bergman's scandalous affair with Italian director caused a U.S. senator to denounce the star as a powerful influence of evil. Though she was a popular success, Bergman longed to make more serious work and wrote to Italian neo-realist director Roberto Rossellini. Scandalous affair. It doesn't say married. It doesn't say married. It says scandalous affair. No, she wasn't married to him. She was married to Peter Lindstrom and Roberto Rossellini, the second one.
Where are
Oh, she had 3 husbands.
Oh, I don't know exactly.
How far is it to Naples?
About
I haven't had
100
any
kilometers.
husbands.
You mind if I drive? Afraid I'll fall asleep otherwise.
So I guess they did get
All
married.
right.
7 years.
Fine, if you wish.
7 years.
Did you see that? It's incredible the way some people drive here.
Like madmen. They should amuse you.
What noisy people. I've never seen noise and boredom go so well together.
Oh, I don't know. Uncle Homer lived here for 40 years without getting bored.
Uncle Homer was not a normal person.
I must write to my mother. How long do you think we'll be here?
Only a few days. If what that Burton fellow wrote me is true, we shouldn't have any trouble in disposing of the property. I'd never have come on this trip if I didn't think we could clean up this inheritance mess in no time.
Well, you know that Burton, he seems to be such an attentive, orderly person. How could he be such a good friend of Uncle Homer's?
I can't say. I only know that he was with him for a number of years, and that Uncle Homer trusted him completely.
I do say. Don't make eye contact with the cows. Never make eye contact with cows. Or your consciousnesses will switch place, and then you'll become a cow. And they'll
Oh,
become
is
you.
that a streak of blood?
No, that's just a bug squashed against the glass. The air is full of insects.
Do you think there's any danger of catching malaria?
They say not. You know, I was just thinking what a fool I was 3 months ago in London. It would have been so easy for me to solve the Lewis deal. There were at least 3 solutions that were better than the one I chose, and I just couldn't think of them.
And you think of them now?
Now they seem very clear to me.
Big steering
Oh,
wheel.
what a shame John and Dorothy couldn't come with us.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
If only you'd listened to me, we could have come by plane. We would have been back home a week ago.
But I wanted you to take a rest.
So
It
negative,
didn't
this
occur
guy.
to me that it would be so boring for you to be alone with me.
What's that got to do with it? I'm just bored because I've got nothing to do.
This is the first time that we've been really alone ever since we married.
Marriage trouble.
Yes, I suppose it is.
So I don't know all the details here, but it seems like there's something going on with an inheritance, a legal issue. When someone dies, their Uncle Homer leaves, in this case, maybe an inheritance of money or property or something. We don't know all the details. But anyway, they're going to Italy because Uncle Homer was living there. And they have to resolve the legal issue, which is maybe sign some papers and shred some papers. I don't know what people have to do, but that apparently that's what they're here for. That's the reason they're here. And it looks like their marriage is kind of on the rocks. On the rocks means it's a little shaky, maybe not going so well. He seems to be complaining about everything. And when she says, "This is the first time you've been alone with me," he says, "Yes, I suppose it is." And then when someone says, "I suppose so," "I suppose it is," they're showing a lack of enthusiasm. "Yes, I suppose so. Suppose so." Notice he says "s'pose," not "suppose." So actually what he's saying is "suppose." But he says, in fact, "s'pose." We often do an S and then an apostrophe and then a pose, P-O-S-E. And that's a way to say "suppose," sort of a shortened version. "Yes, I suppose so. Suppose so. Suppose it is. Suppose we should continue. Suppose we should keep going. Suppose so." Hi from Blue Rectangle. Cool. This is a quiet and slow movie so far. Car conversation, walking scene. Guess this is Italian neo-realism. That's what this is. Italian neo-realism.
Good evening, madam. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. We have a reservation under the name of Joyce.
Yes, Mr. Joyce. Will you come this way, please?
Good evening, Mrs. Joyce. Good evening, sir. Rooms 317 and 18. Follow me, please.
Excuse me, sir. There is some mail for you.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Guys, don't forget to hit the like button when you come in. Would appreciate that to sort of spread the word.
Shall we have something to drink?
Yes, but not here. Let's go down to the bar. At least there'll be some other people around.
Ooh.
Why? Would it be so terribly boring if we were to remain alone?
No, I was thinking of you. I don't think you're very happy when we're alone.
Are you sure you know when I'm happy?
No, ever since we left on this trip, I'm not so sure. I realized for the first time that we are like strangers.
That's right. After 8 years of marriage, it seems we don't know anything about each other.
At home, everything seemed so perfect. Well, now that we're away
Hey, Luba.
and alone.
Yes. It's a strange discovery to make.
At least they're honest
Will you
with each
send off
other.
this wire, please?
At once,
Thank
sir.
you. Now that we're strangers, we can start all over again at the beginning. Might be rather amusing, don't you think?
Let's go down to the bar.
Little passive aggressive, maybe. A little passive aggressive. I may not even need to pause the movie because there are long spaces of nobody saying anything so far.
anniversary.
How nice
Are
to
you
see
here?
I've been here for the day. I've been living in Capri for the last 3 months. But what are you doing here?
Just a business trip.
Yes, a pleasure trip, too.
Oh, how nice. Look, we're just going to dinner. Won't you join us? Oh, this is Leslie Harris.
Howdy,
Hello.
Miss Restelli and Paul Dupont.
Hello, Miss Sinibaldi and Miss Notari.
Hello.
Hello. Well, shall we have a drink first?
Yes, come on. Have a drink with us, huh?
Oh, I thought he said, shall we overdrink first?
Angela, un bicchiere di acqua minerale.
You know, she broke her leg a month
Said
ago.
that.
We brought her to Naples to have the cast removed. She'll be all right again tomorrow.
Shall we overdrink
Let's hurry with those drinks. I'm starving.
Ask myself the same question. Sometimes.
bello mio questo paese, casi de broro nato moracise, e rispondetacci facendo scuse, ad engalla murada su paese.
Things really don't change much. I mean, restaurant in the 1950s, restaurant in 2020, looks about the same. Okay, the smoking. Why would you talk to strange ladies if your wife is Ingrid Bergman? Seriously, come on, man. So, a couple things very quickly. He says when they're introducing each other, how do you do, how do you do, how do you do, how do you do? He says, how do you do? You might wonder if you should still say that. It's not that it's wrong to say, how do you do? A lot of people more often nowadays say, how are you? Nice to meet you. He's saying, how do you do? Not really to say, how are you? He's saying, how do you do? More as a sort of greeting. Hello. How's it going? Maybe as a hello, or nice to meet you as a kind of hello greeting for the first time. Really pretty formal and not nearly as common nowadays. This is a situation where they met someone they knew, and so they didn't plan it. That would be bumping into someone. To run into someone or to bump into someone, probably bump into in this case would be the phrase we would use. And then shall we is sort of like let's go, let's do that. It's a very polite way to say it. We both know what we're going to do next. You and I, we both know. We're going to go over there. We're going to drink too much. We're going to go over there. We're going to drive a car with a big steering wheel. Whatever we're planning to do, I'll say, shall we? That means, shall we go? Or would you like to go now? And then the natural response would be something like, sure, or yeah, let's go. Not, we shall. We never use, I wouldn't say we never use shall. Nihat, we use it.
Wake up, Alex. Wake up, it's terribly late. I called that man, Mr. Burton. He'll be here in a little while to take us to the house. Wake up, it's late.
Uh-oh, separate beds.
I must say one sleeps well in this country. I was dreaming about something. I can't remember what it was.
Maybe the charming Judy we were so lucky to meet last night.
Maybe.
I've
She's
never seen
very
her such
passive-aggressive.
good form. Do you know her well?
Yes. Well, I must get up. Any tea?
It's on its way up. How silly of me. I never realized you were so interested in other women.
Oh, you didn't, eh?
Hello? Oh, tell Mr. Burton I will be down in a few minutes. And send up a porter. Thank you. He's already here.
I don't think we can do Roman holiday.
There are two people who are interested
Copyright.
in buying the property. Too bad you want to sell it, though. It's such a beautiful place.
Oh, it's a property.
Yes, so I understand, but we must sell. I've become very fond of the place. You see, I arrived there during the war. It was all locked up, practically deserted. The moment I saw it, I requisitioned it immediately. I kept it from being robbed and ruined. One day, Uncle Homer arrived. He had taken refuge in Capri, where he was constantly being watched by the police. Practically interned, poor fellow.
That's right. We had no news from him for the whole duration of the war. It was madness to want to stay here in an enemy country.
Oh, I don't think he had such a bad time in Capri, really. He had many friends. Everybody liked him. Homer was the kind of a man you couldn't help liking, you know? After the Allies had broken through the Gothic line, I was transferred to Venice. That's where I got engaged. Homer had become just like a father to both of us. Ah, there's the house right up there. The white one. Do you see it?
I didn't get to see it clearly.
Tutto motore! Signor, sono arrivati.
Looks nice, though. Pretty nice. I like it.
Welcome. Buongiorno.
Yeah, it looks like the car is a little cramped. Kind of hard to squeeze in. It is interesting. Someone else noticed the separate beds. I think that's intentional. I think we're supposed to get the sense that, hey, this is a married couple, but their marriage is kind of on the rocks, kind of dead. Something is changing. They're realizing their relationship wasn't what it was. He's talking to other women. She's being kind of passive-aggressive because she recognizes this. And so I think this is what the movie is about. This is a relationship movie. This is a marriage movie. This is a movie about modern marriage.
This is Natalia, my wife.
How do you do?
Please go on in. I'll take care of the baggage.
Please come in. This way, please. You see, this is one of the drawing rooms where your uncle dined when he had guests. And we used to set up a large table right here.
I never knew my uncle had such good taste.
And now this way, please.
Excuse me. They're singing all the time.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, in there are the kitchen and the pantry. Please.
I like this house.
Doesn't she look like Lydia?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
The profile. But much better looking, of course.
Aren't they lovely? Those are French porcelains. They are Vieux Paris. Come. I want you to see the terrace. There's the Vesuvius. Ever since the eruption of 1944, there's been a period of calm. But the temperature's beginning to rise a little, though. That point back there,
Wow, look at
behind
that
the hill,
view.
that first hill, is Pompei. There's Castellamare, Torre Annunziata, Resines over there, and Naples. There's Ischia, the Isle of Capri, and that large strip down there is the Sorrento Peninsula.
It would be hard to come back to a boring place after being here. I would have a hard time selling this house. Look at the view. The inside is very modern, very cool. Such an awesome house. I would keep it as at least a vacation house if I was the inheritor. If I had inherited a house like this, I mean, by the Mediterranean, a view of Vesuvius, the volcano, Pompei, amazing. That's awesome. He uses the word requisition instead of buy. Requisition usually suggests a process. To requisition something is to spend time and energy getting something. It usually suggests negotiation, a kind of back and forth. So when he says, I requisitioned the house, he means it's not a simple thing. Buying a house, buying a car, we might use requisition. No news for the whole duration of the war. That means during World War II, this whole time, Uncle Homer didn't send any news, and they feel bad for him that he was in Italy during the war. Actually, not that much fighting in Italy happened. It was pretty relatively light compared to other places, so it's probably pretty nice during the war as well. And he said he had a lot of friends. And then this guy says you couldn't help liking him. What does that mean? That means even if you don't want to like him, you will. Maybe he's so likable, so easy to like, that even if you don't want to like him, like they seem to not want to like him, you can't help yourself. You can't prevent it. It's going to happen. He's so likable.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Yes, quite. This way, please. A Neapolitan painter of the 19th century, Palizzi, quite famous.
This would not happen in a modern movie. Just walking around.
Here we have sunshine all day long. It was your Uncle Homer's favorite corner.
I do love
And
this
here are
though.
your bedrooms.
It's the good kind of boring.
And this will be your room, Mrs. Joyce.
Oh, very nice.
Ah, the baggage. Metteteli qui, eh?
Thank you.
Brava. Are you having your lunch here?
Yes.
I'll have things ready in an hour.
Thank you very much.
Do you like it?
Yes, delicious.
Of course, if you're going to stay here for a while, we'll have to do something about getting servants for you.
Well, if you can find somebody, just for a few days.
Only a few days?
We can't stay very long. Our government doesn't make it possible for us to stay abroad for very long. £10 a day for a month, you know.
Yes, I know. I was very lucky. I came here right after the war, as soon as I got out of the army. Then we got married.
This wine is excellent.
Then Uncle Homer gave us hospitality here in the hunting lodge. I found something to do in Pompei. The excavations, you know. I had taken a course in archaeology. You must come out there someday.
We certainly will. I'm so anxious to see Pompei.
Pompei. Pompei is famous for the...
I don't seem to be able to quench my thirst. How about you?
Me, no. Did you notice I hardly touched the food?
I can't understand what it is. Perhaps it's all this garlic and oil. Look, I've drank a whole bottle of wine.
Wash yourself. It might make you ill.
No. Where's everybody gone to?
Well, I heard somebody talking inside the house.
I think I'll go and see what's going on.
Iman, it's Pompei. Pompei is the name of the place. Pompei. There was a volcano, and it swept down and killed everyone instantly. If you look at the Pompei excavation, the people are just like this. Frozen.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry to trouble you.
Eh?
Well, I'm terribly thirsty. It's this food, you know. I'm not used to all those sauces.
Ma che volete?
Something to drink.
Ah, e se volete sentire meglio vai da pigliare un po' di bicarbonate, che le fa bene.
Well, but I just want you to fill it up.
Capite,
With
state
wine.
ubriache, che è successo, top?
This wine is excellent, you know. But I'd just like you to fill it up.
Ah, non volete bicarbonate, non vi posso servire, non ho la chiave del cellare.
Anybody speak Italian?
But,
Help.
You misunderstand me. I want to fill it up with wine.
Ah, sì, Kill non ti capisce, perché fai tanta confusione? Portala da signorino Tony, Kill ti capisce e ci spiega, va?
Va bene. Noi non ci capiamo. Vieni con me. Vieni. 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 Vieni.
How dare you speak to me like that?
Andiamo dal signorino Tony, vieni. Vieni, ah. Vieni.
How dare you speak to me
Vieni,
like
vieni con me. Vieni, che io non voglio responsabilità.
How dare you speak to me like that?
Scusate, questo signore non vuol capire, si sente male. Ha bevuto e non vuole il bicarbonato.
She says she doesn't understand you.
I'm dying of thirst. I'd like to have a drink.
Il signore vuol bere, vuole del vino.
Ma ho capito, come si può non capire? Quello faceva così con la bottiglia, ma gli fa male però.
Obviously, the poor woman couldn't understand you. It seems you weren't making the right gestures.
Well, what gesture should I make?
To fill
Well,
up a bottle, you should do like this.
yes.
What do I do for a bottle of mineral water?
Well, that's simple. Il signore vuole anche una bottiglia di acqua minerale.
Ah,
All right? Chiudo io.
Everybody's asleep. It might be the middle of the night.
This is one of the slowest movies I've
You
ever
asleep
seen.
too?
Almost.
I like it though. Feels very
Oh,
real.
it's so nice in the sun. Why don't you sit down too?
Spent 5 minutes just getting some water.
Temple of the Spirit. No longer bodies, but pure, ascetic image. Do you remember poor Charles?
Charles who?
Charles Lewington.
Lewington?
He died 2 years ago.
Oh, and you just heard about it?
No, I knew the day after his death. 2 years ago.
Lewington. I don't seem to be able to remember the fella. Where did we meet him?
At the Hooper Smiths.
Was he a lawyer?
No. No, he was a poet. He was thin, tall, fair, so pale and spiritual. He was stationed here in Italy during the war. Right here, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yes, I think I remember him. He was at one of Arthur's concerts. He had a fit of coughing and had to leave the auditorium.
Oh, yes, he was very ill. Something he caught during the war.
You know, that young man started me thinking about something.
About what?
That you can learn more from the way a man coughs than from the way he speaks.
What did Charles Cough tell you?
That he was a fool.
He was not a fool. He was a poet.
What's the difference?
Charles wrote some wonderful poems.
I must get one of his books.
Well, you won't find any. He was too young to have any of his books published.
Then how did you know about them?
He read them to me. I even copied some. Temple of the Spirit. No longer bodies, but pure, ascetic images, compared to which mere thought seems flesh, heavy, dim. He wrote them here in Italy while he was in the war.
I never knew you were such great friends.
Oh, I knew him before I met you.
Were you in love with him?
No. But we got on terribly well together. I saw a great deal of him at Copping Farm. Then he got desperately ill. I couldn't even visit him. For almost a year, I didn't see him. Then on the eve of our wedding, the night before I left for London, I was packing my bags when I heard a sound of pebbles on my window. And the rain was so heavy that I couldn't see anyone outside. So I ran out into the garden just as I was. And there he stood. He was shivering with cold. He was so strange and romantic. Maybe he wanted to prove to me that in spite of the high fever, he had braved the rain to see me. Or maybe he wanted to die.
How very poetic. Much more poetic than his verses.
This is interesting. I mean, I didn't realize this movie was going to be so. I mean, it's very subtle. It's very tied to reality and uses the scene and the feeling of the environment to sort of give meaning to the story in a way. That's what it seems like. It seems like this place, this house, is kind of a character in the story. That's what it seems like to me so far. I like it. It's slow, but this is a very interesting movie. She says, she's talking about this person. Now, why is she saying this? Well, maybe he died as a poet, so poets are more artistic and romantic, and they follow their intuitions. And she's talking about him. Why is she talking about him? Maybe being here in this place is reminding her of him, and she wants to mention it to her husband, who's the opposite. He's kind of dry, he's kind of stiff, he's kind of serious. How dare you say this to me? That sort of way of being is he's not very romantic and carefree and creative and artistic, and maybe she's using that as a point of comparison to make him start thinking, or maybe she's just a little frustrated. Pebbles on my window. Pebbles are little rocks, P-E-B-B-L-E-S. When he was dying, right before he died, before she was about to leave, threw pebbles at her window to get her attention. That's one thing that people do. I think now they just, what do they do? Message each other on Instagram would be similar to that. Pebbles on the window is the 1950s, 40s, and 30s version of Instagram. In spite of the high fever means against that. If you do something in spite of something, you do it against that. That is a force pushing against you that would prevent you from doing it if you're a normal person. But you're not prevented by it. You do it anyway. You do it in spite of that. In spite of the cold, I went outside. In spite of my headache, I did a live class or whatever. Something like that. Something that normally would potentially stop you from doing it. Did you watch this movie repeatedly? I'm watching this movie with you guys. I've never seen it before. The movies we watch generally I've never seen. So it's risky because it could be terrible, but I think it's interesting to watch the movies together.
Alex, may I take the car?
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
Good morning, Mrs. Joyce.
Good morning.
Where are you going?
To Naples.
Well, what's your hurry?
Oh, I'm in no hurry.
Well, what is it then?
Well, if you need the car, I can borrow Mrs. Burton's.
I've already told you I don't need the car. I'm waiting
More
here to
Italian,
see the people that
signora.
are interested in buying the villa, and I think it might be a good idea if you were here too.
No.
What if the rest of the movie is just the Italian signora? That would be all right.
Why?
I don't know. I think it might be a good idea. You can leave after they've seen it.
Oh, then I'd be too late. I want to go to the museum, and they close at 4 o'clock. I don't want to miss anything.
Aren't you going to have some lunch?
I've had a sandwich. Well, I better get started.
Is this the museum that your friend, what was his name, described in his verses?
Maybe.
Maybe means yes. Those are awesome sunglasses. I like those. Brute. Brute is a rude person. Rough and rude person. She's making fun of her husband. Batman? Why does it remind you of Batman? This movie is the least like Batman thing I've ever seen.
He thinks he understands life. He ought to be punished for his pride, his self-assurance. Oh, this must be it.
She's talking about her husband again, I think. Anybody else want to visit Italy after this? Very attractive.
Morning. You have a guide, madam?
No, I haven't got one yet.
Do you wish to visit the art gallery?
Yes, that would be fine.
Very well. Did you buy a ticket?
No.
You go inside. I'll get the ticket. Just a second. This way, please. Many years ago, this was a cavalry barracks. In 1700, King Charles made a museum of it. The museum is very important. At one time, there were secret rooms with paintings of Pompei. There are groups of sculptors here from many famous collections. Capodimonte, Volcano, Pompei, and so forth. This is the famous group of dancers. They were found in the Villa Ercolano. Observe the harmony of their movements. The fourth one looks just like my daughter Marianne.
Why is this scary music playing?
This satyr was in a villa at Pompei. It is a pagan divinity that was found in the woods. It is a good thing they exist no longer. They were very dangerous. This is the drunken form. He is about to fall asleep. Sleep is a wonderful habit.
Okay.
Here we have a young discus thrower, a Greek. And here are the emperors. This is Caracalla. He built the famous public baths in Rome. He killed his brother right in his mother's arms. This is Nero. You must have heard of him.
Yeah.
He has the face of a baby, but he was a madman.
He was a
He
madman.
burned Rome and killed his whole family, even his mother.
Nero was insane.
Tiberius. He spent almost all his life on the Isle of Capri because he liked to live well. He was a little crazy too. He used to feed his slaves to the fishes. Funny emperors, don't you think, lady? This is the Venus I like most. She's not as young as the others. She's more mature. Don't you agree, lady?
Perhaps I wouldn't know.
And over here is the marvelous Farnese Hercules. It was found in the baths of Caracalla in Rome. It is over 10 feet tall, 2,200 years old. It shows Hercules resting on a club. It looks like everybody takes a rest around here, except me.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Down there is the famous Farnese Bull, carved out of a single block of marble. It's over 12 feet high, and it was restored by Michelangelo. It's said to be the largest marble group in the world. This group represents the sons of Antiope, Amphius and Zeus, who, to avenge their mother, tied the cruel queen Dirce to the horn of an angry bull.
It's a dog.
To think that those men lived thousands of years ago, and you feel that they're just like the men of today. It's amazing. It is as if Nero or Caracalla.
So, I mean, this movie is so weird. It's so interesting because who makes a movie where it's just a museum tour, right? A conversation in the car, a tour of the house, a conversation to break it up, spending 5 minutes trying to get a bottle of water, and a whole museum tour. I mean, really interesting stuff. I don't know what to think about this, but I like it. My favorite thing that the tour guide in the museum says is, he says, "Sleep is a wonderful habit." This is the comment he makes. That is hilarious. Sleep is yeah, yeah, I guess so. Sleep is a wonderful habit. He also says, "Funny emperors, don't you think? Lady?" He adds lady to everything he says. This guy has a great sense of humor. He's describing how horrible they are. Nero killed his family and burned a bunch of stuff, and I think Nero is the one who made his horse a senator, something like that. And Caligula was also a crazy person, and he just describes them as funny. I think that's great. And then the big statue, the guy, the huge one, that was Achilles, I think. Achilles is the hero of the Trojan War. If you've read the Iliad, then you'll know who Achilles is. He is the one who killed Hector.
Caesar or Tiberius would suddenly tell you what they felt, and you could understand exactly what they were like.
Then they're not ascetic figures.
No, not at all. Poor Charles, he had a way all his own of seeing things. What struck me was the complete lack of modesty with which everything is expressed. There was absolutely no attempt to... Come in.
Come in.
I'm so sorry to trouble you, but an old friend of your Uncle Homer phoned. His dearest friend, in fact, the Duke of Lipoli. He would like to meet you. Of course, I told him that you weren't at home, and could he please call later?
Oh, well, when he calls again, I'd like to talk to him. Might be rather fun to meet him.
Yes.
Very good then. Good
I think
night.
they're starting to get into. They're starting to get into Italy a little bit. They're getting into it. Oh, things are changing.
Why don't we try to enjoy our vacation?
Well, if we don't, it's your fault. You don't realize how mean you can be sometimes. It's more than anyone can stand.
You're supposed to say sorry there.
Did those people come to see the house?
Yes.
What did they decide?
Nothing.
Nothing.
They're going to make me an offer on Thursday.
What kind of people were they?
Rather talkative.
What was that?
Silenzio, smettetela! Non vi vergognate! They're getting married in a week and they're always fighting. It's jealousy.
How could anyone be jealous before marriage?
When the time just before marriage is a very delicate one. Oh!
Another museum tour.
Di Lipoli?
Yes.
Second floor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening.
How
I'm
do you
very
do?
happy to meet you.
How do you do?
Hello.
Please do come
How do you do?
How do you do?
How do you do?
Please.
I'm so glad you could come. We've been looking forward to meeting you.
I didn't know Homer had such a beautiful niece. These are all friends of Homer.
Here.
I want you to meet the Duchesses of Montalban.
Hello.
The Duke of Marino. Come, Mrs. Joyce.
Would you like something to drink, Mr. Joyce?
I want to be a
And
duke.
may I introduce the Count and Countess of
How do you-
Trebisonda,
how do
Prince
you-
and Princess Melissa. How do you, Mrs. Joyce?
Won't you sit down, please?
Thank you.
That old joker Homer kept it a secret that he had such a beauty in the family.
Yes, he had a mania for keeping secrets.
Even his death.
Yes, we found out about it quite a while after he'd been buried.
We'll get even with him up there someday.
We'll pay him a surprise visit.
And I bet he'll pretend to be really surprised.
What an unusual home you have, and so comfortable.
That sounds to me like one of those compliments that hide the usual reproach. Dolce far niente.
Sorry, I don't understand.
How do you say in English, dolce far niente? It is impossible to say it in English. Perhaps I could translate it, how sweet it is to do nothing.
Oh, I understand.
They say that all Neapolitans are loafers. Now, I'd like to ask you, would you say that a shipwrecked man is a loafer? In a certain sense, we're all shipwrecked. You have to fight so hard just to keep afloat.
Well, it looks like a very pleasant shipwreck to me.
Especially when I look into your eyes. They're like stars in the night.
Do you like Naples?
Well, I haven't seen very much yet.
When did you arrive?
3 days ago.
Did you come by plane?
No, we motored.
I'm trying to think of lines that I could say to women about their eyes that would sound for a second okay, and then you'd realize, wait a second, what are you saying? Your eyes are like golf balls. Your eyes remind me of... I'll have to think about it. I like the golf balls one.
Like something to drink?
All right.
Brandy?
Yes, please.
Have a good time?
No.
No.
That's strange. It's a long time since I've seen you in such a good mood.
Well, you seem pretty gay yourself.
Well, what did you want me to do? Look bored?
Why don't you admit that you did have a good time?
I don't even want to talk about it. All those Italians milling around you. What were they doing? Telling you funny stories?
Jealous?
Is that what you think?
Ever since we realized how little we meant to each other, you've done everything you could to make things worse.
And what about you? You haven't said a word or made a gesture to try to save what little is left of our marriage.
But why should I make the effort all alone?
Because it's your fault. The whole thing is your fault.
I think you ought to know that it didn't take me long after we were married to realize what was wrong. There was always criticism in your eyes, criticism until it crushed me.
Nonsense. But it is rather surprising to hear you say that what I felt was important to you.
What do you mean?
Exactly what I say. You accuse me of criticizing you. Well, it isn't true. Of course, there are a few things which I don't like about you.
I know that.
Your lack of a sense of humor, your ridiculous romanticism.
Ridiculous romanticism.
From your wife to a mere hostess for your friends and to handling your public relations, you seemed quite pleased.
Now, look, I don't want to talk about this anymore. You know, I'm getting absolutely sick of this crazy country. It poisons you with laziness. I want to get back home. Back to work.
Oh, at last that big word. I haven't heard you mention it for some time. Work. I expect you to be talking about duty next.
Do the words work and duty mean nothing to you since you've been here?
Don't be a hypocrite.
No, that's enough. I think the best thing for us is to stay away from one another. I'm going to Capri to wait there for the answer of the people that are interested in the house.
I'm sure you'll find Capri terribly exciting now that your friends are there. And you have such lovely friends.
Ooh, serious stuff. Okay, so, wow, that's probably the most exciting moment in the whole movie. The fight. They had an argument. Finally, some stuff is coming out, some of their issues. What are their issues? It starts with, you seem pretty gay yourself, just to be clear. Gay, the way that we use it now, doesn't mean the same thing that it used to mean. If someone says you seem pretty gay in a movie from the 1950s, it doesn't mean homosexual. It means happy, joyful, carefree, that sort of thing. And so you hear that in a lot of old songs. I don't want to talk about it. This is what we say when we want to avoid an uncomfortable conversation. We are dismissive. We say, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Very common expression. It's a very common thing to say. If someone is trying to push you to say or talk about something that you feel uncomfortable with. All of those Italians milling around you, they're sort of around her and giving her attention and paying attention to her, so he feels jealous, right? Because they're Italians, they're more romantic, they're more carefree, and he's kind of grim and serious and only thinks about work. There was always criticism in your eyes. That means she felt that he was always being critical of her, and she cared about that. It crushed her, and he's realizing, oh, well, I didn't even realize you cared about that. I didn't even realize that that bothered you, because I thought you didn't even care what I think. So I thought my criticism didn't mean anything to you. And then one of the things that he doesn't like about her that he would criticize her for is her ridiculous romanticism. So he thinks that her love of the romantic and that sort of thing is ridiculous. And she feels now maybe more comfortable in Italy because it is more romantic, more carefree, less focused on work. He's so serious and focused on work. But he says of her that their marriage problems are completely her fault, which is a pretty bold statement. Okay. Guys, if you wouldn't mind, if you haven't already, hit the like button. That'd be awesome. And also, don't forget to subscribe too so that you can see when we do these in the future. Janaki's here. Hey. Did I play 12 Angry Men? We started it, but it didn't work out. It got banned. That's a nice view. I'm going to... Oh, let me pause it here. I'm going to Capri or Capri? Capri or Capri, to have a little fun. As you said, museums bore me. You'll have more time for your what is that? For your what does it say? I can't read the third word. I can't read the first letter's not clear. This way, Alex.
To Capri. To have a good time. If he thinks he can make me jealous.
Oh, maybe it was a pilgrimages. Maybe it was pilgrimages. It didn't look like a P though. That did not look like a P. Yeah, I think he meant to say pilgrimages.
Ma chi è morto? Don Pasquale.
Pilgrimages.
Un buon uomo. Faceva bene a tutti quanti.
Hello, Emma.
He thinks I'm going to give in. Thinks I'll run after him. He's mistaken. I've learned a great deal from him. He'll see. He'll see.
Do you guys talk to yourselves like that? I don't talk to myself like that. I don't actually talk out loud to myself.
To the left of the Acropolis is the Cave of the Sibyl. After the Greeks and the Romans, this place was transformed into a fortress.
Ah,
Fortress.
a fortress.
Yes, a fortress, that's what I said. After abandoning the ancient city of Troy, Aeneas landed here on this very beach. In the last war, the British troops landed here.
Really? British troops landed here?
Yes, right here.
And where do they stay?
All around here. This is the entrance to the caves of the Sibyl, the Cumaean Sibyl.
Oh, but it's enormous.
Listen to the echo! Oh!
Yes, I hear it. Wonderful.
In ancient times, you could hear it much louder when the walls were covered with bronze. Oh!
It's extraordinary.
Oh! Down at the end, there are the rooms of
I
the
like this
Sibyl.
guy.
And these were her baths. This way, lady.
This way, lady. Everyone calls her lady. This way, lady.
The Christians made them over into catacombs.
catacombs,
You see,
underground
lady?
caves.
It is here that lovers came to question the Sibyl. When they wanted to know what the course of their love would be.
Temple of the Spirit, no longer bodies, but pure, ascetic image.
She's revisiting the poetry of her friend, the sites. I think that's why it's called pilgrimages, because she wants to revisit the places that his poetry
Lady.
describes.
Don't you want to visit the rooms of the Sibyl?
No, thank you. Some other time.
Excuse me, lady. You see these holes? It is there that the Saracens tied their prisoners. Allow me. This is the way they would have tied a beautiful woman like you. Akavokist.
Where is the Temple of Apollo?
It's up there. But I'm not coming, it's too windy. Goodbye.
I like that old guy. I'm not coming, it's too windy. Goodbye. Wish people refused more often in that way. I'm not coming because I don't want to. Goodbye. Can't help you correct your English writing because it's too boring. Goodbye. Yeah, I think because of the way it was written, the very long cursive, the P doesn't look like a P, so that's why it's a little confusing. Hey. Cheers.
Cynical, cruel.
She's always talking to her husband, muttering to herself, trying to get it out of her system as she revisits the landscapes that her romantic side wants.
Have a sandwich, Judy.
Which
Come
is
on.
this friend she had who died, who was a poet.
And for you?
These pilgrimages that she's taking is helping her deal with her feelings about her husband. Very interesting.
When I decided to leave my husband, I had no problems. The only important thing was my freedom. You seem to have a lot of problems. A lot of questions on your mind. It's because you love her, and you're jealous.
Jealous?
What time is it, darling?
10:30.
10:30. It's so late. Come on, everybody. We have a rule here, never to go to bed later than 10:30.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Good night.
Fun.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Night.
Sure.
Come on,
Johnny.
Johnny.
Come on. Let's go.
Thanks for coming, Alex.
And you must come again sometime, eh?
Thanks for the party.
Good night.
Good night, dear.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Hey, wait for me.
Well, come on then. Good night.
Bye. Are you taking Marie home?
Yes, of course.
All right. Good night.
Do you mind if I lean on you?
No, not at all.
Thank you.
Do you want to go home right away?
Yes. What a beautiful sky.
Yes, it is.
It's a pity that I can't leave my window open. Night air is bad for me.
Oh.
But I leave the shutters open, and when I wake up in the night, I can see the stars through the window.
Well, that's a very lovely way to look at the stars.
This is where I live. Good night.
Shall I see you tomorrow?
Oh, yes.
What time?
At 11.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
One of them is going to be her husband, right? Maybe? Is that too obvious? Is that too American of me to think that?
This way, madam, please.
Same guy? Same guys?
This little crater formed during the last eruption. You can see the boiling lava. On this spot, madam, the crust of the earth is only 12 feet thick.
But isn't it dangerous?
No. Now I'll show you something very interesting, the mystery of ionization.
What is it? What does it mean?
Well, it's a very interesting phenomenon. If you will watch now, I'll show you. All you have to do is light a torch and the smoke increases everywhere. Not only where we are now, but in all the craters.
Wait, I must take a photo
Yes,
for my
yes,
husband.
as you wish, madam.
I'm ready.
She's got her Instagram. Old school Instagram right here.
There, here we are. Now you see, look. Look at the smoke in that corner. Did you see what a cloud of smoke?
Yes, that's right.
The smoke increases not only
And way
here,
over there,
but
too.
everywhere, all over the hill.
Oh, that's incredible. Extraordinary.
Isn't it? And look over there. Observe down here. All right, now, stand over there, please. And now, madam, I'll show you the same effect of ionization produced by a cigarette. Yes, feel the heat at this opening. And now watch.
It's hot.
Watch. Now look, look. You see? Not only
Yes.
here, but all over the hill.
Oh.
At the same time. The smoke increases over all the area. Once more.
What is the point of this?
May I
Of
try?
course. Try yourself. Let me
No,
hold it.
thanks.
How is this? What does this have to do with the plot of the movie?
This way, madam, please. This is
so
another
random.
sight you must not miss. This is the small Vesuvius, called the pocket Vesuvius. It is one of the most interesting spots in this area. In that corner, there are the boiling cinders and lapellus, you'll see. Giovanotti, ragazzi, vieni qua. Smuova là. Now look in that corner. Look. The lapellus, you see? Pompei, you know, was destroyed by a rain of burning
like
lapellus and cinders, exactly. And now, if you will come this way, follow me, please.
Good morning.
Bonjour. I'm a little late.
Doesn't matter, I am very patient.
Where are we going?
Well, would you like to go for a little walk?
It'll be good for my leg.
Which way shall we go?
Let's go this way.
All right. Feeling better?
Yes, thank you. although I slept very little last night.
Oh, why?
Oh, I don't know. I feel so alone in my house. It seems kind of dead without that disorder or something that a man leaves behind.
Whoa, being a little obvious there.
The doors and the closet creak strangely, seem to make sounds I never heard before. And even the noises outside seem louder, clearer. Footsteps in the streets, or a voice, or a child shouting, or a radio in the distance.
Fate is really strange. Such a big world. To think that I might never have met you. You know, when I first saw you, I hardly noticed you. And now your happiness is really quite important to me.
But I am happy, very happy. Everything is all right with my husband now. I've been so nervous for the past few days. You can't imagine the letters we wrote each other. You see, he doesn't write very much, but when he wants to really hurt someone, he can do it with one phrase. But everything is all right now. He is coming back to Capri tonight.
Whoa. That is a body slam right there. That is not what he wanted to hear. You've been such a good friend. Your friendship has helped me get back with my boyfriend.
They'll bring the hot water for your tea right away.
Thanks.
Did you have an interesting day?
Yes, very.
Did you see anything new?
Well, I saw the sulfur springs.
Strange place, isn't it? Tell me, did you imagine that Naples was like this?
Oh, I can't say. Not quite as it is, perhaps.
You haven't the faintest idea what Naples is like. I must show you. Tomorrow, if you wish, we can go together to visit the Fontanelle.
What is that?
It's a catacomb where they gathered skeletons from ancient cemeteries.
Sounds very dismal.
Dismal? Quite the contrary. These are the skeletons of people who died 200, 300, and even 400 years ago. Can you imagine?
I don't think it sounds very amusing.
But that's because you've never been to the place. You wouldn't believe it, but quite a few people go there. There are many people who have chosen a skeleton, assembled it properly, take care of it lovingly, bring fresh flowers every so often, and keep a lamp in front of it.
But what is the meaning of all that?
Oh, it's pity, I guess. These poor dead are abandoned and alone. They have no one to look after them, no one to pray for them.
Well, I don't understand. I just can't understand it.
I know. It's difficult to understand, but you'll see for yourself. That must be the boat from Capri. Oh, yes, that must be it. Is your husband coming back tonight?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. He didn't phone me. Oh, I have a terrible headache.
Ah, it's the sirocco. The dampness in the air.
Now, if they would bring me the water for my tea, I could take an aspirin.
I'll see what's delaying them.
This is interesting. It seems like there's this disconnect between these two, not only between themselves, but between themselves and their environment. Just now she said, I'll take an aspirin. And the other lady is talking about the cause of it. She's talking about why it's happening, and it feels more natural, more connected to the surroundings and what's going on. And when she talks about the skulls in the catacombs, then it's more like we pity them, we collect them, and we cherish sort of this experience, and you can't know until you do it. And there's sort of, I think, these two are kind of want to stay distant still. They don't want to kind of embrace it. Very interesting. A couple things. To think that I might never have met you. To think. He's kind of starting to say that he really likes this girl. So maybe she needs to let him know that, hey, my husband is coming back tomorrow. I'm not interested, right? To think is to imagine a possibility. It's hard for me to imagine. To think. I'm just trying to imagine the alternative. It's one way we do it. We say, for example, to think. I almost chose a different movie. Now I can barely imagine having watched a different movie. We're watching this one, right? So we're kind of just guessing this crazy alternative possibility. Everything is all right with my husband. All right with my husband means good now, okay now, fine now. Everything is all right with him. You haven't the faintest idea, this lady says to her. Now, this could be just to say someone is clueless in a critical way. I don't think she's saying it in a critical way. I think she's saying it to say something like, oh, if you haven't experienced it, there's no way for you to even know what it's like, right? So I haven't the faintest idea. It means I really have no idea what it's like. I don't know what it's like. The faintest idea. You haven't the faintest idea what you're talking about is often a criticism. But again, I don't think she's using it that way here. And then she says, you'll see for yourself. That's when you really experience something, when you do it, when you go through it, when you go there, you experience it for yourself. You'll see for yourself from your own experience. And then a catacomb is a sort of underground tomb that is often winding and long, kind of caves underground, often in Rome or France or Europe. It's called they're called catacombs. Catacombs. Okay. I think she's playing solitaire. Not anymore.
There doesn't seem to be much that a foreigner can do to amuse himself in this town.
There are a few nightclubs, sir.
Yes, I've tried them, but I'm not much impressed.
Did you visit the one on the left as you go out of the hotel? About 2 blocks?
No, I haven't seen that one.
There is a floor show there. It's a little better than the rest.
I must investigate it. How much do I owe you?
That will be 3,000 lira, sir. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, sir.
I think he's just maybe he's going through a sort of midlife crisis situation. That might be part of it.
Buonasera.
Buonasera.
What was that about? Oh.
I'm afraid I don't understand Italian.
Okay.
Prostitute?
You shameless, brazen hussy.
What did you say? If you speak fast, I don't understand. Slowly. What did you say?
Oh, nothing. Nothing important.
Cigarette?
Thanks.
What's going on here?
2 nights ago, a friend died. A woman friend. 32 years old. In a nightclub, she put her head on the table. And she died.
But how? What of?
It was her heart. She had a baby 7 months ago.
I'm sorry.
If you didn't call me just now, I think I would have thrown myself into the sea.
Isn't that a little extreme?
Maybe. But it is what I would have done.
Well, look here, after all, there are lots of...
Listen, where do you want to go? To your home? Are you in a hotel? Where do we go?
Nowhere. Just forget it. I'll take you for a drive and then I'll drop you off wherever you want to go.
Okay, what is happening here? Can you guys explain to me what just happened there? Hey man, don't drink and drive, bro. What? Why is she nervous? She's playing solitaire. Nothing wrong with that. Diet Pepsi. Oh, she's trying to pretend she doesn't care. Okay. All right, fair enough. Very important. Before you go to bed, make sure you gargle with Diet Pepsi. Very important. Everybody knows that.
Yes? What is it?
I just wanted to make sure it was you.
Who did you think it was?
I was sound asleep. I had so much sun and air today that I was dead tired. I fell asleep almost immediately. How well one sleeps here?
Well,
it's very slow.
Then,
I woke up with a start when I heard a noise. I didn't know that you were coming back tonight.
well, as you see, here I am.
Did you have a good time?
Not bad.
What boat did you come back on?
The one that leaves at 5 o'clock.
Oh, 5 o'clock? What did you do until now?
I was in Naples.
Oh.
Anything else you want to know?
He feels like he's being interviewed, interrogated.
Then
He doesn't like it.
Have your permission to go to bed?
Of course.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Maybe they're not a good fit for each other, you know? Very different personalities. What's going on here?
Will you do me a favor?
Yes.
Have someone call me at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. And don't let anyone disturb me until then. I haven't been sleeping very well the last few nights.
All right.
Good night.
She hoping he would say something romantic. Instead, he said, "Hey, can you be my secretary, my personal assistant?" Hey Siri, wife. Oh, not you. Never
I
mind.
can't remember if I was supposed to wake Alex before leaving. I guess not, though. He said something about wanting to sleep until 11.
Sleep is always good for one. Let him sleep. Oh, by the way, did he
Sleep
enjoy
is a
Capri?
good habit.
Not very much, I'm afraid. Oh, what a beautiful Madonna.
Oh, there's some marvelous ones. Oh, let me tell you about a foreigner who was standing on the sidewalk one day here in Naples. Suddenly, he noticed that everybody was tipping their hats and waving to him. He couldn't understand his sudden popularity until he realized he was standing in front of one of those Madonnas.
How many expectant mothers you see here?
There are hundreds of them in the streets of Naples. Count them in this space alone. 2, 3, 4, 5, and another one down there. 6.
No, I'm sorry I took the car. Maybe he needed it. Oh, look there. Look at that donkey. Oh, what a load he's carrying, and he's so little.
But they're very strong.
Little donkey.
It's a tough breed.
Tiny
The
little
food
donkey.
here is spicy, isn't it? Hmm?
Why? Aren't you feeling well?
Oh, yes. I was thinking of my husband. How beautiful the children are. I really think they are very beautiful here.
Is your husband also fond of children?
Oh, I don't know. I think so. But one never knows what he's thinking.
Okay, let me just stop it here for a second. She's obviously very preoccupied. They have two different projects. I think he's going through this kind of what we call a midlife crisis, something that is well known among men who reach a certain age. I went through my midlife crisis when I was 10. And they often will buy a sports car or maybe find prostitutes or just do something crazy because they feel like, I haven't reached my potential or something like that. It's psychological and is complicated. He might be going through something like that, and he's obviously got some issues with his wife, and it's a complicated situation. Now, she feels also, it seems like she has this urge for the romantic, this need for the romantic, and she's revisiting this idea. And this poetry that's coming back to her is pulling her through these romantic places, and now she's seeing what she doesn't have yet, which is a child with her husband, and now being constantly reminded of this and the fact that her relationship isn't quite working out seems to be causing her some anxiety. So she seems to be preoccupied with this. It's almost like these two are off in their own little mental worlds, and their mental worlds are preventing them from actually enjoying themselves together and being together. So we'll see. We've got 16 minutes left. We're going to have to see if this gets resolved. I don't know if I'm right. I'm just watching the movie, so let me know if you disagree with me. What is the Madonna? The Madonna is the mother of Jesus, the mother of Jesus Christ. If you're not familiar with Christianity, there are two branches, really, two main branches. The first branch is called Catholicism, and the second branch is called Protestantism. So in Catholicism, which actually is very dominant in Italy, there is an emphasis on Jesus's mother, who was a virgin when she became pregnant with Jesus, who is the sort of leading figure of Christianity. Christianity is Jesus Christ. Christianity, same thing. So if you're not familiar with that, Mary is worshipped, prayed to, and so you see these Madonna statues. Madonna is the mother of Christ. So these are called Madonnas. That's what it's called, and that's how Catholicism works. In Protestantism, it's not really focused on. People don't really talk about the Madonna or Mary as much. And then let's see, what else is there? Oh no, I think that's it for now. Maybe we'll have a couple more points by the end. Creepy. Oh, this is where they're going to do the skulls thing? They said people go to the catacombs to dig up a skull. So this is probably going to hopefully have some symbolic meaning for their relationship, right? Maybe.
My brother died in Greece during the war. He was buried there. So I often come here to pray for him. It consoles me a little. I pray for something else, too. I want so much. I want so much to have a child. You understand me, don't you?
Cool.
Good morning.
Morning.
Oh, good morning.
Morning.
See you later.
I see you took the car.
I didn't know you needed it.
Well, you might have asked.
I didn't want to wake you up, and I was in a hurry.
Why? What could possibly be so urgent? Another ruin immortalized by Charles? I'm getting thoroughly sick of these love pilgrimages.
How can you make such a fuss just because I took the car?
It's not only that. Everything you do nowadays seems so utterly senseless. You've become quite intolerable.
All right, then. If that's the way you feel, let's do something about it.
All right? Let's get a divorce.
Good morning. I've come to pick you up. We should be leaving for Pompei immediately.
Oh, well, that's impossible.
Oh, but you can't miss this. It's a special occasion. Something that's happened very rarely since they've been excavating at Pompei. They're going to make A cast of the hollow place that has been left in the lava by human body.
Oh, I'm sorry, but
Oh, please, you must come. Imagine that you actually see the shape of a man just as he was then, the moment he was surprised by death. It's an extraordinary experience. Very few people ever get a chance to see it. I must insist.
You hear what he's saying? So remember Pompei, this volcanic ash swept down from the volcano, and it's moving so fast that it's not like people say, "Oh, look, here comes volcano dust. Let's go. Hey, let me get a bus ticket." No, it's not like that. There's no time. It's really fast, so it's a matter of seconds. So if you look at the Pompei site in the excavation, you see people basically frozen in their death position. It's really shocking. It's very interesting to see. You can Google it. And he's saying we're going to look at one of these bodies, the impression of the body left behind from the volcano, from the natural disaster at Pompeii.
Sure that you'll thank me for it afterwards.
And he says it right after he just said, "Let's get a divorce." Let's get a divorce. No, let's go see Pompeii.
These are new excavations.
Oh, I think I see the symbolism. They're going to look at the dead body. Oh, crap. What did I do? What have I done? I don't want to... Hey. Sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry, guys.
Surprised by death. It's an extraordinary experience.
I think I know what the symbolism is going to be. Maybe. You can tell me what you think, guys. But I think it's going to be something like dead body underground. Bring it up out of the ground. Out into the open so that you can see it. So that's their relationship.
Very few people ever get a chance to see it. I must insist. I'm sure that you'll thank me for it afterwards. All these are new excavations. It's on this spot that they found a hollow space. When the men find hollow ground, they make a number of holes. And through these, they pour plaster. The plaster fills out the hollow space left in the ground by the body, which has disintegrated. The shapes of bodies or objects buried for over 2,000 years are reconstructed this way. Look, you can begin to see something.
What is it?
See. Looks like a leg. Yes. There's an arm. There are two more legs. Well, it must be a group. In the house of Menandro, they found the remains of 9 people. There's the head. You can see the skull with the plaster clinging to it.
Wow.
And now the skull bones and the teeth, both remarkably well preserved. Two people just as they were at the moment they died.
Two people just as the moment they were when they got married.
A man and a
I think
woman.
that's what this is.
Perhaps husband and wife, who knows? May have found death like this together.
Very symbolic. Very symbolic.
What's happened to Mrs. Joyce?
I don't know.
Is there anything I can do?
No, I'll talk to her. Catherine, what's the matter? What's happened to you?
Oh, Alex, this is too much. I can't stand it any longer. Please take me home. I want to go home. I don't want to stay here any longer.
Well, if that's what you want, but we can't relieve these people like this. They've been very kind, and it isn't something that they do every day. We owe them some kind of explanation.
Well, you explain to them. Say I'm sick or something.
All right. Look, my wife isn't feeling very well. If you'll excuse us, I think I'll take her home.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Do you want me to go with you? Do you know the way out, or would you like me to take you somewhere where she can rest? Come, I'll show you.
No, I think it's much better if I go myself. She doesn't want anyone around just for the moment, if you understand. But she'll be all right, and we'll probably be back in a few minutes.
All right.
Is this the way out?
Yes, that's right.
Very symbolic. Something's got to happen. There's only about 7 more minutes left in the movie.
You know, I understand how you feel. I was pretty moved myself. But you must try to pull yourself together.
Oh, did it affect you the same way? I've seen so many strange things today that I didn't have the time to tell you about. There are many things I didn't tell you. I'm sorry I answered you in such a stupid way when I came back this morning.
Why? Our situation is quite clear. We've made our decision. You don't have to make any excuses. Don't you want to look around a little as long as we're here?
No.
Nothing here that brings back old memories?
Oh, stop it. Must you continue to harp on it? I'm sick and tired of your sarcasm. We have decided to get a divorce and that settles it.
I think she's going to kill him. I think that's a little extreme. I don't think things are headed in that direction. That doesn't seem right. If it were a Hitchcock movie, maybe. Very creative, Janaki.
Life is so short.
That's why one should make the most of it.
That would be a surprise. That would be a surprise ending. Right here. Behind him. Bang! He's not looking. If you hear someone say, earlier he describes her behavior as utterly senseless, the way you've been behaving recently. Utterly senseless. Senseless means it makes no sense. If you hear someone say utterly, it's just to make it complete. Completely senseless. 100%. It's utterly ridiculous. Utterly amazing. Utterly senseless. That sort of thing. So extreme. Then they describe the situation as intolerable. You can't deal with it. Can't handle it. This is intolerable. I can't deal with it. I cannot handle it. And I mentioned before the word excavation. So if you hear someone say excavation, it's about digging in the ground or finding things underground, usually artifacts, jars, bones, skulls, dinosaur bones, things like that.
Look, I've been thinking. Perhaps I ought to leave immediately. You seem to like it here, so why don't you stay on until you've sold the house? I'll take a plane back to London. I think the best thing to do is to talk to a lawyer and start proceedings.
Maybe what is wrong with our marriage is that we didn't have a child.
Well, you didn't want a child. And now I agree with you. You were quite right. You had much more foresight than I did. Imagine what it would be like to have a child involved in this. It would make the divorce even more painful.
Painful? Is it going to be painful for you?
Well, more complicated.
Ouch. So there's a parade going on? Some kind of parade?
What in the world is going on? Look at all these people. Look at the children.
It's a parade.
No, this is awful. We won't get through for hours.
I like one of the comments is, I now pronounce you ex-husband and ex-wife. That's very creative.
Alex, listen. Are you sure we're doing the right thing?
Are you suddenly getting sentimental? Listen, Catherine, we've been honest with each other up to now. Don't let's spoil everything.
Life is short, and a parade as well. Hey, it's the Madonna.
How can they believe in that? They're like a bunch of children.
Children are happy. Alex, I don't want you to hate me. I don't want it to finish this way.
Catherine, what are you driving at? The game you're trying to play, you've never understood me, you've never even tried. Now this nonsense. What is it you want?
Nothing. I despise you.
Well, come on, let's get out of this car.
Despise means hate. Despise.
Catherine. Catherine, what's wrong with us? Why do we torture one another?
When you say things that hurt me, I try to hurt you back, don't you see? But I can't. I can't any longer because I love you.
Perhaps we get hurt too easily.
Tell me that you love me.
Well, if I do, will you promise not to take advantage of me?
Yes. But tell me, I want to hear you say it.
All right. I love you.
Wasn't very convincing, eh? Well, guys, that's it. That's the movie. Happy ending? Maybe. I'm not quite sure. I'd be curious to know what you guys think. It's I really like the pace of it, how slow everything is. We had basically 2 free tours, one of a volcanic area and one of a museum, so that's nice. Oh, 3, sorry. One of a house as well. Really interesting stuff. I mean, not what I expect out of a movie, and I guess that's this Italian neo-realism, and I found it to be really interesting. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions about it, I appreciate it. I agree that Ingrid Bergman is a great actress. The ending kind of surprised me as well. I mean, is that I don't know if I believe him. Should I? Am I supposed to? I'm not sure. I'll have to think about it some more. But anyway, it was great having you guys along. If you have other questions about stuff, well, we can talk about it in the next Q&A. We'll probably do one of those tomorrow. Not probably, definitely. And let's see, what else? If you guys haven't already, I would really appreciate if you could tap the like button, because that helps the channel out. If you want to see future videos, subscribe. And if you want to watch other movies, just let me know. Make sure they're in the public domain first, and then let me know what you want to watch, and we can talk about it. Let's see, what else? Oh, if you haven't already, check out my courses, full English courses. That is in the link in the description. You can improve your pronunciation and habits and so on. Tomorrow's live class will start at around noon Eastern Standard Time. So, hope to see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to have a special guest tomorrow. It's going to be a guy from the UK. You may know him, you may not. And so hope to see you tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then. Have a good one.